Meghan Markle is at the centre of a dress-gate drama that has mired her in yet another damaging public row from which she is not emerging well. Did she steal the green gown she was provided with for a magazine photo shoot? Absolutely not, insists the difficult Duchess. Sources explaining that as a royal, she is required to archive the clothes she is seen in. Whatever the hell that means, it has spectacularly failed to calm the storm. This extraordinary controversy is erupting now after Ms Markle appeared in the promo for her With Love Meghan Netflix Christmas special, wearing an off-the-shoulder number by the designer label Galvan. Eagle-eyed viewers spotted that it was the very same outfit she donned to grace the cover of Variety mag 3 years ago in 2022. And therein lies the tawdry tale. Recollections may vary, but according to some, as soon as the camera stopped clicking, Meghan just walked off with the $1,695 garment, which is around £1,300 in British money. Didn't ask, didn't pay, just took. Isn't that what we mere commoners call theft? No way, declares a spokesman for her ladyship, who haughtily informs us the insinuation that any items were taken without the full knowledge and agreement of the on-set stylists or their respective teams is not only categorically false, but also highly defamatory. Any items kept were done so in total transparency and in accordance with the contractual arrangements. So, while it's not unknown for celebrities to procure the clothes they model at photo shoots, it's crystal clear Meghan got the green dress for free, a perk she was denied when she was required to follow the strict probity of British royal rules. But hey, now that Mistress Meg makes her own rules, the money she saved can perhaps go towards the upkeep of the $29 million Montecito mansion she shares with her multi-millionaire husband, Harry. Every little helps, eh? Happy days. Meanwhile, here we go again. The umpteenth video of the back of the kids' heads as Meghan selflessly posts on Instagram her being selfless on a visit with Harry, Archie and Lilibet to a volunteer food insecurity kitchen in Los Angeles. Just to make sure we all realise just how wonderful she is, Meghan adds the modest caption, "Show up, do good," the motto of the Sussex's Archewell Foundation. In the Duchess's me world, charity must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. Inspirational, St. Meghan. Truly, you are an angel on earth. Unbelievable. But while the Dressgate fallout was escalating and the dust still settling after her bizarre bravery of jam-making interview in Harper's Bazaar, the former cable show actress tantalised us with an intriguing announcement. In a cryptic Thanksgiving message to her online store customers, she teased, "Something big is coming." Ooh, how exciting! What could it be? As you were, get off the edge of your seats, stop chewing your nails. The stunning revelation turned out to be a Black Friday offer of 20% off all as ever products. So, whoop-de-doo, Meg's astronomically priced $28 pots of honey will now set you back a bargain basement $22. A jar of jam for just $11. Wow! Don't get crushed in the rush. Meanwhile, the self-styled domestic goddess has been on Instagram once again with a crucial video showcasing how she seasons a turkey. Amazing! Is there no start to her talents? Apparently not. Worried food fans pointed out that while handling the raw meat, Chef Markle kept her jewellery on. A bacteria-packed hygiene no-no. Oh well, talking of untalented, there's no denying that Meghan's spare Prince Harry is seriously in demand, accepting an invitation to deliver an important speech to a bunch of Canadian real estate agents. Hope they're paying him well. Not sure the Aurea Powerhouse conference in Toronto got the right guy, though. Here's how they build old ginger nuts. Humanitarian, mental health advocate, environmentalist, and military combat veteran. His work is dedicated to creating positive and lasting change for communities and the planet, particularly in advancing conversations around resilience and healing. What? Can that really be the dim Duke? But at least they didn't pretend the not famously intellectual prince knows anything about flogging houses. Instead, they promised his oratory would focus on his favourite nebulous subjects: service and leadership. Would that be the service he so impressively displayed when he turned his back on his royal duties to run away to California with his Hollywood wife? As for leadership, what does Harry know about that? Who has he led in life? What leadership has he ever shown? Answers on a postcard, please. The Christmas season has begun, and after enduring With Love Meghan holiday celebration, for me, things can only get better. Netflix's answer to water torture, this stunning exercise in banality, turns tedium into an art form. How strange is this self-consumed woman that she thinks we need, and I quote, tips and tricks for festive wrapping. How weird is she that she arranges raw broccoli into a circle and calls it an edible rendition of a Christmas wreath? Guests that she doesn't know keep popping into the same 2 rooms in a Santa Barbara house that isn't hers to swap inanities. But they can't compete with the Queen of Californian claptrap who spews mind-numbing nonsense like, I just love having a tree up. There's something about it that in an area of your house you're able to really encapsulate your family story, really feel the passage of time and the different chapters of your life through the ornaments. It's a tree! Meghan's not really a royal, but when it comes to stupefying psychobabble, the magnificent language-mangling Markle is the reigning monarch, an almighty sovereign power. She's got jokes too. It feels like fondue, she purrs as she stirs up melted cheese in a saucepan. You've never heard anyone say fondant. Be still, my aching sides. When she adds it's thick, I hear myself growling, and so are you. Rude, I know, but I'm angry that by serving up this non-stop empty dirge, Montecito's self-styled domestic goddess has stolen an hour of my life that I'll never get back. She spends the first 15 minutes or so droning on about cacio e pepe and gougères, without ever once explaining what they are. Now that I know, I still don't care. Then along comes her ladyship's first pretend instant friend, some platitudinous gastro-bore called Will Guidera, who runs Meghan a close second in the pretentious cobbler's stakes. As she introduces awestruck Will to the British tradition of Christmas crackers and starts laboriously folding paper and cardboard together, she informs him, you can buy these pre-made. As in, absolutely everyone buys them pre-made. The easily impressed Will is almost overcome with emotion when his beaming host helpfully explains that when we Brits cross arms and pull our crackers at the same time, it actually feels really connected. What even does that mean? Throughout the plodding proceedings, Meg's delightful dog Guy, the only true star of the show, stages regular appearances in the kitchen, which seem like charming interludes, until you remember that poor old Guy died in January 11 months ago. So this dreary dross has been in the can, gaining cobwebs for some time. Contemporaneous, it ain't. The DIY Duchess goes on to construct her own advent calendar, a sort of hanging sack thing that makes you yearn for the shops. She puts messages in the pouches, such as, I love you because you're brave. Harry gets a princely pouch in which his theatrically devoted wife declares there's a little love letter, a little chocolate, a little hat, Sounds about right for his little intellect. He'll like that. Two women arrive wearing red pyjamas. One's billed as a founder and friend, the other's an author and friend. And with rictus grins, they all make festive wreaths. As they depart, appearance fees pocketed, the undynamic duo's sense of relief is palpable. Then the worst bit, a visit from, bizarrely, randomly, Japanese tennis player Naomi Osaka, who, despite being paid well, struggles to disguise the fact that she has no idea why she's painting plates with the Duchess of Sussex, nor do the viewers. Nonplussed, Naomi is even more bemused when Meghan hands her the aforementioned raw broccoli wreath and expects her to eat it. I'm not a cruel man, but I was going to say that Ms. Osaka is just about the most boring person I've ever seen on TV, until I realised she's not boring, she's bored. Criminally bored to tears, like the rest of us. I feel her pain. Shall we go craft? Meg inquires. Naomi's expression seems to reply, never mind go craft. Can't I just go? But on to the less than grand finale, some bald chef chucking together the salad from hell and, drumroll, the regal entrance of the dim Duke himself. Yes, it's Harry and he's hungry. I smell gumbo, booms the spare shortly before he tucks into his wife's sausage and shrimp concoction, a spicy dish that hails from America's deep south. I can feel it puncturing my head, says Harry mysteriously. And with that, there's just time for Meghan to toast the long-suffering crew who have had to witness this gormless garbage at close range for hours on end. That's a wrap, cries someone, and you can almost hear them all running for the door. Please, Meghan, never inflict anything like this on us ever again. With love, Kevin. For Meghan Markle, this is the apocalypse now. The difficult Duchess's worst nightmare has come true. Her response to her father's life or death drama has been nothing short of a disaster. For a woman obsessively concerned with publicity, who puts so much effort into her carefully choreographed image, these are devastating times. After a turbulent week of dubious declarations, Meghan's assiduously curated reputation as a very special human being with an extraordinary capacity for love and friendship lies in ruins. While her half-brother Thomas Markle Jr. was warning that their poor dad might not survive, the best the Duchess of Sussex could manage was the meagre revelation that, more than 7 years since she last spoke to the father to whom she was once inordinately close, she had sent him an email. Since it didn't bounce back, she assumed it had reached him. Really? That's it? Cue mass horror among shocked critics who couldn't believe that that was the beginning and the end of her ladyship's reaction. As jaws dropped all over the world there, for anyone unfortunate enough to tune into Netflix's answer to water torture, the With Love Meghan Holiday special, was the beaming Duchess waxing lyrical about the importance of family at this festive time of year. The stark contrast between this sickly, palpably fake TV schmaltz and the real-life way Meghan was dealing with her dad's intensive care ordeal screamed hypocrisy. And frankly, the traumatic situation continues to get worse and worse. Within a couple of damaging days, it was clearly dawning on Ms. Markle that the hole she was trapped in was fast getting deeper. Suddenly, her PR department announced that their semi-royal boss was busy ringing round Philippines hospitals, desperately trying to find Thomas Markle Sr. Does this sound true to you? No, me neither. Her half-brother, Thomas Jr., who is with their father in the Philippines, would have put her in touch. So why the frantic ring-around? Now we're told that the Duchess has located her 81-year-old parent and has, drumroll, dispatched a letter to him. How touching, how heartwarming, how depressingly, dispiritingly, dismally dreadful. Don't you want to just shout, "Meghan, pick up the phone. He's had his leg amputated, for God's sake. Call him, talk to him." Or better still, do what a decent daughter would do. Get on a plane and go and see him. Worth pausing here to recall the sad saga that has driven a wedge between the social mountaineer Duchess and the down-to-earth Hollywood studio lighting man who raised her. It was 7 years ago when Mr. Markle was persuaded by a paparazzi photographer to pose for mocked-up pictures pretending he was being fitted for a suit ahead of Meghan's royal wedding. As a result, the future Mrs. Harry sent her father to Siberia and ceased all contact with him. Weirdly, Thomas has never met his regal son-in-law, nor has he even laid eyes on his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet. And as the family schism grew colder and ever wider, the increasingly fragile Markle Sr. suffered a heart attack, 2 strokes, and after moving to the Philippines, endured a massive earthquake. Throughout it all, Meghan acted as if he didn't exist. Now, the critical state of the ailing octogenarian's health has forced his distant daughter to react and, to a disturbingly minimal extent, lower the drawbridge. Call me cynical, but I can't help sensing that Meghan is not approaching this as an emotional reaching out to her dad in distress. Rather, she's seeing it in terms of navigating her way through stormy waters with a pitiful public relations strategy. So far, so bad, because up to now, Meghan's pathetically poor PR broadside has been a 24/7 catastrophe. Incredibly, as we speak, she has resorted to utterly baseless accusations of a breach of ethics by a British reporter who, with his full permission, interviewed Thomas Markle at his hospital bedside. This is absolutely outrageous. What exactly is unethical about a journalist asking for and being granted an interview? In fact, over the years, Mr. Markle has formed a friendship with Caroline Graham from the Mail on Sunday newspaper, and he actually asked her to fly over from California to see him. Perhaps it was when he revealed that, contrary to what Meghan was insisting, he had no evidence she was trying to get in touch, that the desperate Duchess lashed out at her favourite pantomime villain, the media. Perhaps it was because she realised that just maybe it should be her comforting her dad amid his battle to survive, and not a British writer. For Meghan Markle, this is the apocalypse. For Thomas Markle's fading dream that his long-lost high and mighty daughter may ever speak to him again, this is the end. As Meghan Markle staggers incoherently towards the uncharted rocky terrain of 2026, what is she planning for the new year? God only knows. Does she even know? But the breaking news is that it is being reported that tension is rising between Her Montecito Majesty and Harry as he edges ever closer to taking their children Archie and Lilibet to Britain to get to know King Charles, the distant grandfather they have barely met. The Prince is optimistic that a London security review will soon grant him the armed police protection he demands in order to keep his family safe. Sadly, Meghan is less than thrilled at the prospect of returning to a country she deeply dislikes, unless the price is right. Despite her obvious loathing of Britain and all the racists she seems to believe live there, Ms. Markle will apparently agree to cross the Atlantic if she's offered a money-spinning deal. I mean, by whom? What for? But will she? Won't she? Oh, Meghan, we're all on the edge of our seats. We simply can wait. Meanwhile, back in the States, Ms. Markle's frenetic life continues to make no sense. As always with the difficult Duchess, she appears to be doing an awful lot, and yet nothing much at all. Being in a film, producing a film, starring in one of the most tedious shows in TV history as ever, turning into a never, a potential deal with the tacky Kardashians, posting the back of her kids' heads on Instagram, strategic appearances with Ginger Harry, the royal spare she married, all driven by the consuming ambition that constantly fuels her dervish-like whirlwind of frantic empty activity. In other words, stand by for another 12 months of busy nothingness. But right now, amid her worst ever crisis, what on earth is going on? What the hell did this weird woman think she was playing at, effectively sending her ailing father, Thomas Markle, a legal letter warning him about his relationship with the media as he languished in a Philippines hospital fighting for his life? She put so much inordinate effort into carefully polishing the image of her pretend perfect shiny life with her dim husband in sunny California. Drones on in her torturously dull Netflix bore fest with Love Meghan about the importance of family. And then, after a critically sick dad's emergency blood clot and leg amputation surgery, she doesn't even call him. Instead, she fires off the mean missive from hell, informing her desperately ill father that because he talks to the press, she won't talk to him again. Meghan's first message since cutting him off for the non-crime of posing for paparazzi pictures 7 years ago left the distraught Mr. Markle shattered and devastated. Even her most devoted fans, the sickeningly sycophantic so-called Sussex squad, were dismayed by the Arctic nature of the Duchess's icy reaction. Because she's so hopeless at publicity, she doesn't realise the damage she's done to herself. But mark my words, her ladyship's breathtakingly bad behaviour will be the disastrous dark cloud that haunts her for the rest of her days. And through it all, she carries on working hard at looking like she's working hard. She's playing herself in some Amazon drama with a sub-C-list cast called Close Personal Friends. No one knows why. Is it just to earn some much-needed dough? You decide. And remember Meghan and Harry buying the rights to the best-selling novel Meet Me at the Lake? More to the point, do they remember? I only ask because although the dismal duo didn't even get that into development, they've just apparently sealed a deal to produce a new movie based on another book. This one's called The Wedding Date, the story of a political strategist whose lost faith in romance is rekindled by an unexpected encounter. Sounds almost as gripping as Meet Me at the Lake, the story of romance rekindled by an unexpected encounter. Do you see a pattern building up here? Just as the Sussex's unproductive company Archwell Productions didn't make the film of Meet Me at the Lake, are they all set to not make the film of The Wedding Date? Netflix are in the frame again, but will the streaming giant's long-suffering bosses even get what they're being offered? Not on past experience. But who knows? Will Meghan's strange online store, as ever, still be here this time next year, selling mundane domestic products for astronomical prices? How does $28 for a pot of honey sound? Hard to digest. A candle, yours for just 64 bucks. No thanks. Pointless dried flowers to sprinkle endlessly on almost everything for $15. Anyone? Me neither. And even if you decide to shell out cash for trash, misfiring marketeer Meg is out of stock with monotonous regularity. Surely this ongoing shambles cannot last. In other news, in a last-ditch bid to save as ever, Ms. Markle is said to be holding make-or-break talks with top influencer Khloe Jenner. Meanwhile, Harry is, we're told, considering an unlikely partnership with Kim Kardashian to help flog her underwear brand Skims. The mind boggles. And strange but true, Kris Jenner wants to write Meghan and Harry into an upcoming episode of The Kardashians. A sad end to the petulant prince's American dream, lost in the murky world of reality TV. How the high and mighty fall.